Alright guys, welcome back to another exciting tutorial of Ashes here. So in this tutorial we want to continue from where we stopped. We're able to at least informations you can see from here. So what we want to do is that what if you want to probably delete an array or probably update an array? How can we do that? You know, there are some kind of to-dos that you might probably want to create and probably update or delete. So in this kind of situation I'll have to do something real quick. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ensure that I have a button down in there so that I can actually delete for me. So let's take a look at delete first. Okay, so I'm coming straight down here. I've copied the button, I paste it down below. So I'm going to do some kind of adjustment so that you don't get confused concerning the code view. So what I'm going to do is that I think it's high time I remove these. Say bye bye to hello to Fash, and I'm going to save it. So when I save it, I'm going to see what exactly is going to happen. Okay, so by the time I do that, let me reload my browser. So okay, good. So what I'm going to do, you can see now I have buttons right now. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to say okay, I'm going to ensure that this is down there and this code is beside it, so that we'll be able to see everything we're doing like seriously. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is that we now have it in there, right? Okay, good. So what I'm going to do right now is that by the time you reload, you can see that has been deleted, but I don't really want this. I want to delete this set names too, because I want to use the set to do's as well. So I'm no more using this, so I can try to remove this if I like. So I think I don't need it for now, so I'm removing it, loading it. So I think set to do, how can we make use of it? Oops, error. So there's something somewhere else, my name, say my name, line 17. We don't need this, so we're going to remove this. So we're going to reload this. Okay, fine, let's go back. Everything is set now. I still want to make use of this function because I already have it down in there. All right, good. So what I'm going to do, okay, is that I'm going to say inside this cover, inside this place click, I want to create the set to do function. So what does it want to do? Let's check it out. Set to do function is going to perform a which task, and I'm going to have another console.log. okay, console.log. So the console.log is going to have an ID. So this ID is where I'm taking from here. So the ID of distance. So I can easily put the ID inside this place too. Okay, so I'll put inside this function too, so that it should be able to recall it. So the moment I get that one done, I want to ensure that anytime I create a function in here, anytime I create the button, something happen. So what I'm going to do is that if I should do it directly like this, we're going to run into trouble. Like if I should do it like this, we're going to run into trouble. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is that we're going to highlight this, cut it, and create what is known as anonymous function. So anonymous function is this kind of functions that you have until you invoke that function will not run by itself. So that's anonymous function. So you can see I can paste that thing inside this place, I mean the function inside that place now, so that okay, everything is going to be fine. I do it directly like that, you know, the moment I reload my browser, you know, the callback function, the effect is going to start happening. But anytime I use anonymous function like this, that means a function that encapsulates the function, so that function is not going to be automatically invoked by itself until I initiate a button. Okay, so that's exactly why we're doing this. All right, you should know that for now. All right, good. So what we're going to do right now is that right now that I've created an anonymous function, I will put our function inside this. So this ID is not going to be like this. It's not going to be like to do .id, because you know it is inside this div that everything is located. So you have to ensure that you are targeting the ID with the object. Okay, don't forget that is the object when you are creating a JSX. This is the object, and this is your JSX. Everything inside this div is your JSX. Hope you still remember. All right, good. So what we're going to do right now is that, so inside this set to do's that is in our functions that are successfully created, what are we going to have in there? It's pretty easy. So what we're going to have is that we're going to have a to do's like we will normally do, and use a particular method that comes with JavaScript. You know, we use map to cycle through an array and return the value based on the original array. So this time around we want to use filter. So filter is basically used to filter through an array, whether you want to return the array back or you want to do some kind of update, delete or something. So just type filter. So it comes with JavaScript anyway. Filter. I'm not the one that creates this. So if this filter is a function, what should we have inside that function? You know, when we were dealing with map, I stated that inside one open and close curly bracket we have the object, and inside the other one we have the JSX. So inside this place we have the object too, and here is not going to be a open and close bracket, it's going to be a curly brace, so don't mix it up. All right, so inside this place, which is an object, I can call it, so because this thing is to do's, not to do's, not to do, you know, because it is to do's that we have in there, so don't mix it up. All right, good. So here now we now have the object singular version, like we would normally do it to do. And what are we going to have inside this place? I call it logic. So logic simply means the code that you want to run, not the JSX. Okay, so just focus right now on that. So what is the code that I want to run? So what I want to do is I want to return I'm going to explain this. I want to return to do dot id. So what we're going to have in there, sorry, I want to return to do dot id. Okay, sorry, so there's something somewhere. Okay, there's an error somewhere. Let's try to figure it out. Okay, all right. Okay, so I've seen it. So this here we are going to have an ID. So okay, so this console.log, let me remove it first and see whether we're still gonna have an error. So we're having an error. It says set to do. Okay, I think I have to Ctrl Z back all of this so that I'll be able to see clearly where the error is. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. To do but so inside this place I'm going to have a to do dot filter open and close brackets. Filter as a function. There's going to be an object called to do inside this place, and outside I'm going to have an arrow function that is pointing to telling us that we have to return ID where we have to do dot ID. All right, I think we're good. So what I'm saying in essence is this. So this return, basically what it's doing is that if you notice that the ID is the same, when it cycle through the ID, is going to remove the identity. However, if it notices that the ID is a new ID, probably coming from the database, it's going to absolutely leave it. So now returning true simply means the ID has not been existing. So returning false means the ID is existing, and if the ID is actually existing, it's going to delete it. So that's exactly what it means. So let's run it. So let's go back to our code. So let's see whether this thing will work. Wow, it works. Wow. So we're able to delete every of the word. Let me reload the browser. We were able to reload it. So okay, so now you can see now that everything is going fine, but this is not the best practice. We are going to run into trouble when we're dealing with complex program. So because what will happen is that we use the same to-dos inside this place, inside this set. So we need to figure out how we can use another name. So and that is known as previous. We call it previous. Okay, like previous state. So now the topic is really previous state. So anytime you want to run your code based on the previous state, you need to be very careful. So how are you going to do that? Just come straight down here. You say, hey, what I want to do right now is that everything inside set to do, I'm going to cut it. So when I cut it, I'm going to have a callback function. Okay, so just follow along with me, and I'm going to say, hey, let me paste whatever I have in there. So here I'm just going to change it stylishly. I'm going to say prev to do's so that I'll be able to change it. So this is my strategy. Anyways, I'm going to paste it in there like that. So now we are now able to change that from the original to do's to previous what to do. So this is a name that intends to give it so that it's going to be much more easier. So anytime you change it like that, and don't forget you have to return here too. So okay, so normally we're supposed to use the event is going to go like that, but understand the best practice whenever you are trying to filter and you are working on a state. You need to ensure that if that state is depending on the other state, you need to use previous state. So previous state enables or helps us to protect our, if a code is like depending on the previous state, definitely because when you're deleting based on the state that you have actually created before, the array that you have actually created before. So if it is depending on the previous array, we need to use previous state. Okay, and that previous state will easily cycle through because you have loaded it, so it will need to cycle through that former array and work on it, other than you running into error. Okay, hope you really understand this. That this is a concept, just master it. Previous state is used when the present state is depending on the past state. So because this particular delete, update, or whatever we are going to do is going to depend on the array that you have successfully created before. So let's run this code and let's figure it out whether it's going to give us the same result. Okay, I think it's giving us, okay, I've not saved it. Okay, let's save it and do some debugging. Okay, I'm loading it right now, so it's not giving us any error. I think we're good now. Okay, let's delete it. Okay, everything is working fine. Let's reload it. Okay, you can see everything is working. All right, so this is just it. What we were able to do is we're able to create a new button. We're able to create an anonymous function so that when we're creating when we reload our browser, the function is not going to be fired immediately. We wrap it up inside a function so that it is only when we click on the button that makes it going to work. Don't forget that we have to do.id inside this place. So that to do.id is what relates to this particular ID. Okay, and this to do. So now we're able to create a previous state based on the former state, based on this state, because we notice that this particular array is going to, it's what this action is depending on again. And don't forget the concept of filter. Filter has open and close brackets pointing arrows to another curly brace, not another open and close bracket like the one we did for map here. So map is used to create a JSX, while this is used to fire back a logic. This is where I'm actually going to stop for now. In the next tutorial, we're going to dive into what is known as conditional template, and until then, I can't wait to have you in the next tutorial. Bye.